Dr. Demartini, thank you so much for being here and giving us, sharing with us your wisdom for the British Thoughts magazines and our community.
Thank you.
And I have some questions because I personally know very well the Demartini Method, but I know there are some people out there that might not know a lot about it, and I really want to share this with them. So can you share with us, how did you develop this method that is so incredible, and what type of challenges can it solve for people?
I've had a dream since I was 18 to help people find the hidden order in their apparent chaos, to help them discover the magnificence in their own life, instead of comparing themselves to fantasies or other people, but to dig reflectively and look within and ask questions to see the hidden order that was in their life that they had overlooked. And so I've been attempting to help people maximize their potential and their awareness and to master their life. And I developed the method over the last 50 years plus. So I started when I was 18 working on it. So it's been a development. It wasn't just poof. It was in long-term over the step-by-step process. There's many steps to it. And what can it help? I've yet to see somebody who's going through a challenge that it can't assist. So whether it be, because most of our challenges are perceptual. So we can have the event occur in our life, and it's not the event, it's the perception of the event. We have control over our perception, decisions, and actions. So the method allows people to ask questions, to become conscious of things they were overlooking in their awareness, to be fully conscious. So it's like a mindfulness exercise, allowing you to see things that were overlooked and allow you to be able to be appreciative and to love life and the events in your life. So they're on the way, not in the way. So you're master of destiny, not victim of history throughout your life.
Amazing. And I know also that the Demartini Method is based on the laws of the universe and the laws of nature. Can you tell us more about this? What are the laws of the universe and how we can live our lives in flow with them?
Well, there are many eponymous laws of nature. The law of gravitation by Sir Isaac Newton or Einstein, these kind of things. But there's also basic principles and laws that no matter where we are in the world, these laws apply. The law of polarity. In other words, and this was written about by philosophers Heraclitus in the 6th to 5th century BC. He talked about the unity of opposites. And in our life, there's always pairs of opposites. If we infatuate with somebody, we resent their opposite. If we resent somebody, we infatuate with their opposite. And there's always these pair that we judge things by. Then there's a law called the law of the one and the many. When you're dating many people, you're searching for that special one. Once you get the one, you're wondering about the many. And this law of one and many and pairs of opposites is pretty universal. Then there's also the law of reflection, that what we look at other people, we have within ourselves. And this has been stated for centuries, millennia. So those three laws, when it applies to human behavior, they're laws of nature, but they're applies to human behavior, can give people competitive advantage when they're going through life, and again, become more resourceful and more empowered, and allow them to be appreciative of life if they understand those laws, so their expectations are grounded in what's real instead of fantasies that many people expect life to provide. So this way, they basically can appreciate their life instead of sit there and feel like it's not living up to expectation.
And it's amazing that you build such a structured process that is based on these laws that anybody can use.
Yes.
If they learn it, of course.
Yeah, I've been blessed to be able to use it with young children all the way to in their 90s. So the age is irrelevant. In fact, younger children and younger people tend to even have an easier time with the exercise and the method because they don't have all these strategies in their mind to dodge the issues that they face in life. As we get mature, we start to set up you might say strategies to justify our position in life, and we dodge facing the truth about ourselves sometimes. And the children just answer the questions. Yeah. The quality of our life is based on the quality of the questions we ask. And the method is a very, very concise set of questions that liberate people from emotional baggage that they carry around unnecessarily and allow them to see the hidden order and appreciate their life.
Amazing. I need to confess that I used it with my 2-year-old daughter, and it worked perfectly.
Yes. That's regardless of age. Exactly. It has nothing to do with age, really.
And I know many people have these dreams of manifest different things in life. But usually manifestation lately, it was perceived as a bit something not real. Like you think about something and it appears in your life. So how Demartini Method, using it and knowing it, can help somebody to manifest things in their lives, but without getting entangled to a fantasy, but actually thinking and desiring and acting.
Wilhelm Wundt, in about 1897, who was a father of experimental psychology, noticed that many people compared themselves to other people. Mm-hmm. And when they put people on pedestals, they tend to minimize themselves relative to the person they put on this pedestal. Or they've exaggerated themselves when they put people in pit. And whenever they distort their perceptions of other people, they end up distorting perceptions of themselves, and they end up being inauthentic. And when they're inauthentic, they tend to set goals that are either too big and too short a time frame, or set goals that are too small and too long a time frame as a feedback to guide them to set real goals in real time frames. When they're authentic and they put people in the heart and they're living congruently and aligned with what they value most, which is really their identity revolves around, they set real goals in real time frames. And they dominate their thought on it spontaneously. They don't have to be reminded to do it. They just think about it. Their innermost dominant thought tends to become their outermost tangible reality. Phelps, 28 gold medals, was able to concentrate and think and focus on what it is that he wanted, was able to achieve it. So our innermost dominant thought does become our outermost tangible reality. And we spontaneously think about what's most important to us if it's highest on our value and it's authentic. Then we automatically visualize it in our mind. When we're living it congruently according to our highest value, the visual cortex comes online and we see in our mind's eye in advance as if it's present, but we see it in advance what we envision. And those with a vision flourish. Those without a vision tend to perish. So we think about it, we visualize it, and the way we know it's clear in our mind is we can articulate fluently and congruently in a way that it literally comes alive, and we engage other people and inspire other people to want to participate in helping it become true. So there is a science to manifestation. And the most significant thing is to make sure you set goals that are truly important to you, that are really congruent with what you value most, that spontaneously emerge in the mind that you're inspired by to go and fulfill, that you're willing to let nothing stop you from. There's no turning back towards. And then all of a sudden you'll think about it, you'll visualize it, you'll affirm it, you'll feel inspired by it, you'll tend to want to write down a strategy to achieve it. You'll put it in space and time that are realistic. You'll tend to act on it spontaneously with a tremendous amount of energy, with a deserving level that you feel that it's destined. It's impossible for you not to fulfill it. And you become unstoppable and build incremental momentum to achieve it if you just really set goals that are congruent.
Amazing. So the key is to first dissolve the charges, not comparing yourself with others, and set goals authentically. And then do the other steps. And
because we compare ourselves to others and put them on pedestals of pits, and we infatuate or resent them, they occupy space and time in our mind and govern our mind extrinsically instead of allowing us from within to guide our life. And so we're not here to judge, we're here to love. And when we're basically judging, we're distracted by impulses and instincts away from what's priority to help us achieve what's really meaningful. So loving people is a confirmation that we're being authentic, and when we're not puffing ourselves up or beating ourselves up. And this allows us to achieve more. And the Demartini Method, the purpose of the method is to dissolve all that distracting impulses and instincts, infatuation, resentments, and pedestals and pits, and allow somebody to be engaged and inspired and focused so they can do something truly meaningful that is actually from their heart instead of from the distractions of other people.
Amazing. And about that, what are from your experience, the most common blockages, mental blockages that stop people, for example, to achieve wealth and become financially independent or even financially secure?
Well, I've been fascinated by wealth building since I was 27. I lived sort of in an illusion up until that time. I was sort of ungrounded and just fantasized that someday I would somehow get wealthy. But age 27, I really got grounded, and I realized there are certain principles that stand the test of time for building wealth, and I started incorporating them. And many people live in sort of a surreal assumptions about how it's supposed to be done, instead of actually being dedicated to the actual steps that result in it. So number one is, if you asked who do you know that's extremely wealthy, that's either billions or hundreds of millions of households, you'll find out that they built a business that served ever greater numbers of people. They were committed to being of service to people. They cared about humanity enough to find the needs of humanity to serve. If they don't have a service ethic, if they don't have a desire to work and be of value to people, or indirectly hire people to do that, that probability of having an income goes down, and the probability of having a net profit also goes down. Then if they basically want to make sure that they take a portion of that and they put some away and to start buying assets, save and then invest and buy assets. People that don't buy assets and want immediate gratification compensate and become slaves of money instead of become masters of it. So I learned at age 27 to make sure I take a portion of whatever I earn and buy assets with it, buy either companies or buy real estate or buy something that goes up in value. If you want to be wealthy, you want to buy things that go up in value and you want to defer gratification. If you want to be poor, you want to buy things that go down in value and want immediate gratification. And some people want immediate gratification and they can't defer it. And so they fantasize about wealth and then they don't have it and they beat themselves up and compare themselves to others that do, and then want to get quick rich instead of getting rich by serving.
And what can you tell us about the shame and the guilt? I know the two emotions that make us have a low self-esteem, low self-value, and also affect our financial thermostat.
Well, shame and guilt both make us feel self-depreciating. And we're assuming shame and guilt are basically assumptions that we've done something in the past that's caused more pain and pleasure, more loss and gain, more negative than positive to someone. And so if we accumulate that perception, we'll devalue ourselves. And when we devalue ourselves, we'll overcompensate by buying things to temporarily feel better, or we'll give away our services for less price, which devalues us and makes us. And when we devalue ourselves, so does the world. So it teaches us to go back and make sure we're doing something that's meaningful that we feel grateful for instead of devalued. But if we hold on to shame and guilt, and the Demartini Method has a section on we call it column 11, where we dissolve the shame and guilt we carry around. And I've seen many, many thousands of people who've been carrying around and didn't realize that they had it. And the second they freed it, their willingness to ask for what they want, their willingness to receive, their willingness to build and think patiently, long-term, change literally on the spot. So wealth building is liberating you from the subconsciously stored shames and guilts that hold us back.
And I am a live testimony of that, and also my clients. So thank you so much for that.
Yes, it does make a difference, and it's pretty quick.
Yes, I agree. Great. And how about applying your principles and the Demartini Method to grow the business, to grow your business? What can you tell us about that?
Well, when you can't wait to get up in the morning and be of service, people can't wait to get your service. So the key is to making sure that you find a sustainable, fair exchange between what it is that you can't wait to do and what people can't wait to get. This sort of a product, service, or idea. If you're not producing something that has a demand, you may have supply, but there's no demand, there's no income. And if you're providing something that everybody's got a demand, but it's uninspiring, then you earn money without meaning. And money without meaning tends to lead to debauchery. Money with meaning leads to philanthropy. You care about humanity. So finding a niche that is the thing you can't wait to bring to the world, and who it is that actually desires that, and matching that. That's where you maximize your return. And caring enough about human beings to find out what their needs are, and caring enough about yourself to find out how to communicate in that need. That's the secret to mastering the business. So prioritizing your life, delegating lower priority things, making sure you really pay attention to your customers' needs, what's really important to them. Don't guess, don't presume, don't project, but actually listen carefully and find out what they need, because the demand lets you know you're meeting their need. It's the demand. If there's no demand, you're not meeting their need.
Amazing. Very easy principles, but so deep and so profound if you really understand their meaning. So thank you so much for mentioning. And about relationships, because it's another very hot topic for people. What makes some people to attract the same type of partners and get into the same relationship patterns that are toxic or not fulfilling? What is the reason for that?
Well, relationships are like a magnet. If you chop the magnet in half and try to get only one side of the magnet, the other magnet's going to come with it. And so if you think you're going to get support without challenge, or nice without mean, or kind without cruel, or positive without negative, then you are quite immature, and you're making an assumption, which is a bit of a fantasy, you're going to get a one-sided relationship. When you're more mature, you realize that you get both. You know, if you meet somebody and you think they're always going to be one side and not the other, you're living in a delusion. They're going to be, if they have a set of values, and if you communicate in their values, they're nice as a pussycat. If you challenge their values, they can be mean as a tiger. So can you. So making sure you have realistic expectations on what relationships are about. It's there to teach you how to be authentic. And if all of a sudden, when somebody's supporting you and you get engage and get infatuated with that, and you think, oh my God, I have my soulmate. I see more similarities and differences. And oh my God, I have it. Then you're blind to the downsides. Mm-hmm. And then when you attract that other side of the magnet, you think, oh my God, this is toxic. Mm-hmm. Very commonly, people throw around the word tonic and toxic relationship, but those are just two poles of one magnet. When you actually have realistic expectations to get both, you don't label those because you're not searching for one and attracting its opposite. You only label this toxic when you're actually looking for its opposite. When you embrace both sides of a relationship, you don't have this idea of tonic or toxic relationship. And just realize that whatever you're trying to run away from, you keep running into. Mm-hmm. So if you've had a wound and you've been escaping the wound looking for a one-sided magnet, the other side just keeps following you like a Jungian shadow. It keeps attracting it into your life. So take the wounds. That's why I have people to do the Demartini Method. Mm-hmm. To take those wounds, take those things they resented, the things that they would go, I never want to do that again. I despise that. I hate that. I want to avoid that. And go find out how it served you. Because the things that support you keep you juvenilely dependent mm-hmm. and make you not grow up. And the things that challenge you make you precociously independent, make you grow up. And they found that relationships, maximum growth and development occurs at the border of that support and challenge, that tonic toxic, if you will. So change the labels, honor both sides, embrace both sides in yourself and others, and learn the art of communicating what they are dedicated to, what's important to them, and see how it helps you. If not, you're going to want to change them and want to fix them all the time and make them into your fantasy instead of honor them for who they are. But when you love them for who they are, they turn into who you love.
Thank you so much. And I love it because many people run away from relationships hoping to find the perfect...
The fantasy.
The fantasy, and then they don't take the time to see exactly what you said, what they need to balance in themselves in order to change their destiny.
When they find the benefits of the thing they thought was toxic and they find the drawbacks of its opposite in fantasy and bring those back into balance, they find out what love is.
Amazing.
Because I don't know of a relationship. I live on a ship, as you know, mm-hmm. and there's a 91 and 93-year-old couple there, very, very wealthy couple there. And I've asked them, I interviewed them, and I asked them, how long have you been together? And they said 68 years. And I said, and what's that like? And they looked at each other and they were saying, well, we've wanted to kill each other at least 50 times or 100 times. He said, but we just keep going. And that's normal. You're going to have agreements and disagreements, cooperation, competition, pleasures and pains, and peace and war. And every pair of opposite you're going to have in that relationship. When you're embraced and mature enough to embrace all of that, you're on your way to having the soulmate, if you will.
Amazing. And I want to ask you about the breakthrough experience. You're going to have tomorrow another 2 amazing days, and I'm grateful to be part of that. But can you just briefly explain what a person shall expect from attending this amazing experience, life experience?
Well, the Breakthrough Experience is a program I've shared for 35 plus years. And in the morning on Saturday, we usually do it on a weekend, I believe I shatter many myths that people come into the world with. Paul Dirac, the Nobel Prize winner, said, it's not that we don't know so much, we know so much that isn't so. And first we need to shatter the myths that people run their life by. They're expecting pleasures without pains and happies without sads and one-sided worlds. And that's not how life is. Life has a pair of opposites, and unity of opposites is where the power is. So I basically shatter the myths in the morning. I give them principles that will stand the test of time to start building a foundation of not just a relationship with themselves, but with other people, and to help them understand how the brain and mind works. And in the process of doing, I've introduced them to the importance of values and how it is living by priority. If you don't fill your day with high priority actions, it fills up with low priority distractions. And then I give them an introduction to the Demartini Method, which shows them how to clear out all the baggage that they've been carrying around and accumulating, and all the unrealistic expectations that they've run their life by. And then we go to work, and I actually train them on that. And that's a lot of work. I mean, we literally work in the afternoon into the evening, shattering and dissolving baggage that's running their life on an unconscious and subconscious level, so they can be liberated and more enlightened about who they are and what they really want. And that frees them up to be authentic. And then on the next day, on Sunday, we come back and we complete the method, and we go through and we help people appreciate and love on levels that they may not have experienced before. And then we talk about how we manifest what it is that we want in life, and how to be clear and not set up fantasies and delusions and expectations that are unreal on others or ourselves, and then how to achieve that, and how to not compare ourselves so much to others, but compare our daily actions to our own dreams and our own highest values. It's inspiring. I ask people at the end of the break to, how many of you learned something this weekend that you could have gone your entire life, and if you hadn't have been here, you wouldn't have learned? Every hand goes up every week. So it's definitely insightful.
And I can share that I've seen some amazing transformations and breakthrough.
Yes.
What are some breakthrough that you've experienced in 30 years that really, I don't know, can you share one that impacted you?
Yeah, I mean, we could spend the rest of, we'd be videoing for weeks. That's one of the reasons we had the new movie out that's about it.
Yeah, and I want to ask, maybe you can combine and tell us about the movie and about this experience.
I had a gentleman who came to the Breakthrough Experience that was really feeling down and depressed and shamed and guilty. And he felt that he delayed. His mother was dying. He thought she had another few days. He didn't rush to go and see her, and she died before he came. And he felt like a schmuck. That's what he said. And he came to the Breakthrough Experience, and he was really beating himself up, and he was judging himself for that because he was distracted. Because anytime you're feeling infatuated, resentful, or ashamed or proud, you can be distracted from your work and your service to people, and you're not 100%. So he was really distracted, really despaired and down because he was beating himself up because he wasn't there for his mom. And he felt guilty. And I asked him a simple question. Okay, go to the moment when you first realized that you didn't make it on time. Yeah, got it. What was the benefit to your mom? He said, well, there wasn't any. That's why I feel guilty. I said, if you don't see any benefits to your mom, then you're going to be carrying around guilt the rest of your life. So how did it benefit your mom that you didn't make it on the time that you said? Because you have a fantasy, if you'd made it, life would have been happier. So what would have been the benefit? I can't see it. I don't know. He was stuck. I said, look again. And all of a sudden, he just went, boom, a light bulb went on. And he goes, my mom and my sister were not talking and not communicating. My mom died in her arms, my sister's arms. If I would have been there, I would have undermined the relationship that needed to be complete, and my mom would have been focused on me, and there would have been alienation of my sister, and that would not have happened. And that has resolved the final conflict that she had with her daughter, and have the daughter open her heart to mom. Wow. So they got to die in each other's arms and love each other. He says, right now, when I realize that, if I'd have been there, I don't undermine that. I said, so that's the first benefit. Keep going. He says, no, that he got tears in his eyes. He said, it just lifted. See, the quality of our life is based on the quality of the questions we ask. If we ask questions that make us conscious of things we were unconscious of, that hold us back, we liberate ourselves. When he was done, he had tears of gratitude, and he actually lifted up that veil, saw what the order of what was there. There was no mistake what happened, and realized that if he'd been there one day earlier and been there with his mom, she would have died incomplete. And the daughter would have felt the shame and guilt because she didn't complete this. He said, I wouldn't change a thing. I'm grateful. See, there's a hidden order in our daily life, and we don't see it because we haven't had the questions to ask it. We've been taught all types of moral hypocrisies about how life's supposed to be and how it should be, that are social contracts that we do, usually wounded people that set up rules to prevent those wounds again. And we don't really stop and reflect and deeper to find the hidden order that's in our apparent chaos. And that's what the method's about, helping people see the order in their chaos so they can be grateful for their life and have tears of gratitude and honor the magnificence of their life and the people around them. And when they do, there's no pedestals or pits, it's just heart open.
And what about the Breakthrough movie? What can people expect? Can you just share? I know you're launching it in a few days. So just share with us what to expect from the movie.
There's a couple who are ingenious producers that communicated to me they'd like to do a movie about some of this work that I'm doing. And they've been producing it. We got tied up in COVID for a while, so we had to stall it for a while. But they finally finished it, and it came out really great. And I'm really inspired by it because it's already received some awards.
Oh, really? What awards?
Yeah, many awards it's been nominated for. And I'm very inspired by it. We're going to have the premiere, our first premiere here in London on this Monday. And I'm just really grateful that they put it together. I can't say that I did a whole lot other than my life's journey, but they were able to capture by myself and many of my facilitators and people that I've gotten to train around the world. Many of them are participating in it and sharing what they've done with the work that they've learned. And so I think I believe it will help some people whoever watches it will definitely be, inspired by it and blessed by learning the methodology.
Thank you so much. And we're going to share with you where they can find the movie.
Yes.
To buy it and watch it, because I think your method, Dr. Demartini, is amazing. I am supporting so many people with so many challenges thanks to you. And I'm really thankful to you for what you did and for being here and sharing your wisdom with us.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
And thank you very much for watching this inspiring discussion, and we will give you more details about Breakthrough Experience, about the movie. And I hope you all at least are curious to make some steps and discover the power of the universe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.